Hey, welcome. So today, we're diving into a revolution that's not just happening in some tech hub in Silicon Valley, but in workshops, on job sites, pretty much everywhere. We're going to explore how big data is totally reshaping skilled trades and why, believe it or not, data skills might just be the most important new tool in your entire toolbox. So let's just jump right in with a question. What on earth could your local plumber and a giant like Netflix possibly have in common? I know, it sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But the answer, well, it points to a massive shift in how all business gets done. And that answer is data. And it really all boils down to this number, 71%. That's how many customers now expect, and I mean expect, a personalized experience from every single business they deal with. This has gone way beyond movie recommendations. We're talking about every service, from the place you get your coffee to the person who fixes your car. And you know, the stakes for getting this wrong? They are incredibly high. According to McKinsey, a huge 76% of customers feel actual frustration when a company just can't deliver that personal touch. I mean, think about that for a second. It's not just a missed sale, you're actively making your customers unhappy. So, all of this leads us to a really crucial point, this whole demand for personalized service. It's not a nice-to-have feature anymore. It's an absolute must. It's no longer optional. But what does that actually look like when it comes to the bottom line? Well, the financial impact is just staggering. Seriously, this isn't some small increase we're talking about. Companies that really nail personalization see their revenues grow 2 to 6 times faster than their competitors. The big takeaway here is that using data isn't just about making people feel special. It's about building a massive, sustainable advantage in the market. And you can see this in action with brands we all know. Take Netflix. Their recommender system is so good at figuring out what you want to watch next that it saves them an estimated $1 billion a year. $1 billion, just by stopping people from getting bored and canceling. Or look at Starbucks and its Deep Brew app. They use all those personalized offers to drive a 14% revenue boost from their most loyal customers. This is what data can do. Okay, so we get why this matters so much. But what exactly is all this stuff? How does it even work? Let's open up this new data toolbox and break down the key ideas you need to know. And I promise it's a lot more straightforward than you might think. First things first, we've got to get one really critical distinction straight. On one side, you have customization. That's when you do the work, right? Like when you go into an app's settings and pick your preferences. But on the other side, you have personalization. That's when the system does the work, using your past behavior to automatically change the experience for you. So one's manual, the other's automatic. That's the key difference. You know, here's a fantastic way to think about it. Personalization is kind of like having a personal chef. A great chef doesn't just ask what you want to eat tonight. They learn what you like, what you're allergic to, what you loved last week. They use all that info to whip up the perfect meal every single time, often without you even having to ask. And the kitchen where this amazing chef works, it's built on what we call big data fundamentals. It's really a 3-step process. First, you collect all the raw data. Those are your ingredients. Next, you have to clean it all up to make sure it's good quality, kind of like washing your vegetables. And finally, you prep that data, or engineer features, as they say, so that the algorithm, our chef, can actually use it to cook up that perfect experience. But of course, with all this personal data comes huge responsibility. You can't just hoover it all up and do whatever you want. Things like GDPR in Europe lay down some really strict rules. But honestly, it's about more than just the law. It's about being upfront with people, only collecting the data you really, truly need. That's how you build trust. And without trust, you've got nothing. Okay, so we've talked about the why and the what. Now for the really important part, the how. How do you or your students actually get these skills? Let's map out a clear path that takes these ideas out of the textbook and into the real world. You know, the best way to learn anything is just by doing it. And building a basic recommender system, yep, just like the Netflix one, is a perfect first project. It really breaks down into 4 simple steps. You find a public data set, you prep the data, you train a model, and then you test it to see how well you did. It's a fantastic way to make a really complex idea feel completely doable. And here's the best part. You don't need some massive budget to get going. The tools you see here, things like cloud notebooks from Google, open data sets, visualization libraries, so many of them are free and available to anyone with a laptop. This really changes the game and opens the door for everyone, whether you're a learner or a trainer. And for any trainers or educators watching, this is a really powerful statistic. When educators and employers actually team up on these kinds of projects, they can cut complaints about students not having the right skills by up to a third. That partnership is the absolute key to bridging that gap between learning something in a classroom and actually using it to get a job.
All right, let's get to our final section, and honestly, this is the most exciting part. It's time to connect all these dots and talk about the real-world career payoff. What does getting good with data actually mean for your future?
Well, the numbers really do speak for themselves. Data from the OECD shows that data-driven roles are seeing serious growth, while the more traditional, repetitive jobs are on the decline. The job market is sending a really clear signal here. It's rewarding people who can work with data. And this isn't some far-off prediction. This is what's happening right now.
And look, this is not about everybody needing to become a data scientist. It's about becoming what you might call a hybrid professional. Think about it. A plumber who uses sensor data from a smart water system to predict a leak before it happens, or a mechanic who uses diagnostic data to fix an engine problem before it leaves you stranded. The skilled trades are being supercharged with data.
So what's the end result for you? It's simple and it's powerful. We're talking higher wages because these skills are in huge demand. We're talking greater job resilience because your judgment and skill are much harder to automate. And we're talking incredible career flexibility because these data skills are useful in just about every industry you can think of. So we'll leave you with this final thought. This change, this shift, it's happening, whether we're ready for it or not. The future of work is literally being written in the language of data. So the only real question is, are you going to be the one holding the pen?
Thanks for tuning in.